Hello everyone, I'm Sida, and today it's time for some fishing. Except I like it because it's a chill and relaxing activity as in real life, fishing is also a really good way to make a decent amount of gold in Guild Wars 2. In this guide I will go over everything you need to know, and some tips and tricks as well. First of all, you will need the End of Dragons expansion and complete the first story step to unlock fishing. You will then get access to the fishing mastery. In order to be the most efficient and maximize your earnings, you will want to unlock all of them. For each mastery you complete, 20 will be added to your total fishing power. Fishing power is important because it determines how easy it will be for you to catch fish, since the size of your market will be larger the higher your fishing power is. And it also increases your chance to catch a fish of higher rarity. The masteries will also give you some additional bonuses, like reducing the time to catch a fish, ability to detect nearby fishing holes, and 100 extra fishing power while under the effect of a nourishment. Even though you can do some fishing by standing on land, it's much easier and more efficient by using a skiff. In order to get one, you will have to complete this heart in Sighting Province. You can then visit the heart vendor to buy your skiff using 700 karma and 2 writs of Sighting Province or 20 imperial favors. The skiff also comes with a mastery track, where the first 3 adds additional speed and helps you handling enemies below it. The last mastery allows you and eventual party members to increase your fishing power based on the number of total catches. But there is also a faster way to increase this fishing power. I will come back to that later in the video. As soon as you unlock fishing by completing the first story step of End of Dragons, the ability to fish is available on all your characters. And you will also get an account-wide fishing rod that is already equipped. If you are into fashion, there are skins available on the gem store or by using Black Lion statuettes. You can also buy a skin after completing 30 fishing achievements from this vendor in Arborstone. Applying them to a fishing rod does not cost you any transmutation charges. The fishing rod in itself adds the initial 25 to your total fishing power. Next up among some basic requirements are fishing lure and bait. Both of them can be purchased from fishing supply vendors. There are 2 lures that will add 50 to your fishing power. The first one is unlocked by completing the story step Catch a Fish for Arene, and the second one can be purchased. Both of them have 50 uses before they break, similar to other gathering tools. The Antique Fishing Lure adds 75 to your fishing power, and the last ones add 100 each. The number of uses are always the same as the added power. And lastly we have the Infinite Fishing Lure that can be purchased from the gem store. It has unlimited uses, but can only be equipped on one character at a time. An easy way to get around this is to equip one of the cheapest lures on all of your characters. Then add the Infinite Lure to a shared inventory slot. You can now double click to equip and unequip it on your current character without the need to move it around. If you do a lot of fishing and want the convenience, you will have to judge for yourself if it's worth 800 gems. You can also keep an eye on when it might be discounted again. When it comes to bait, most of them are easy to buy from fishing supply vendors for a few copper each. The only exception will be mackerel, which you need to catch yourself in saltwater areas. Or you can buy them using the fine fish fillets you get from any bluefish you catch. In order to reach the maximum fishing power of 925, you will need to use mackerel. But most of the best locations regarding profit will only require scorpions. They can be purchased from this vendor in Crystal Oasis. Or if you have the Anti-Wilds expansion, you can also buy them here in Lowland Shore, at this location in Yanti Sintri, or from this vendor in Mistborn Barrens. And maybe the upcoming patch for Anti-Wilds will add another location on the final map as well. To see the best bait you can use at the current time of day and also the most profitable locations, you can check this page on the Fast Farming Community website. Links for everything mentioned in this video can be found in the description below. Regarding the profits, be aware that those numbers require you to reach the listed fishing power, using the correct bait as well as being able to move around quickly and make your catches as fast as possible. I will come back to some tips about this later in the video. That's all of the basic stuff out of the way. Next up is food, which will also add to your fishing power. The food suited for catching fish is sushi, and all of the available variants will give you the same amount of fishing power. The only difference is a small amount of magic find, so you can buy or craft the cheapest ones, since magic find does not affect fishing. Another thing related to food are the fishing stacks I mentioned earlier from the mastery track. For each fish you catch, your stack will increase and your fishing power will also increase up to the maximum of 300 extra. But you don't need to catch 99 fishes to reach this number. Instead you can simply consume 4 pieces of Zephyrite fish jerky. Each of them will give you 25 stacks. You can either buy them on the trading post or craft them yourself. The only catch to this is that you can only buy the recipe during the Festival of the Four Winds. So if you enjoy fishing, remember to pick this one up in late July to early August. When consuming them, make sure your skiff is anchored, otherwise the stacks will not be applied and you will waste your money. There is also another way to get your stacks up to 99 without spending any money on Zephyrite fish jerky. If you happen to find a fishing squad on the LFG, simply join them and stop by anyone's skiff that has the 99 stacks. They will then be transferred over to you and you can immediately begin fishing from your own skiff. From each fishing hole you can by default make 3 catches, but if you have an item booster active, you can increase this number to up to 6. This will allow you to catch more fish in a shorter amount of time, be more efficient and easier reach the numbers listed on the Fast Farming community website. Fishing holes work the same way as gathering nodes, and an item booster will give you a 33% chance of an extra strike. And since you're only doing one throw at a time, it can trigger multiple times per fishing hole. You can buy item boosters on the gem store, but I don't think it's worth it. They can also be acquired from some of the achievement chests or bought with laurels if you don't need them for something else. But the best way to get the boosters is to use the candy corn gobbler. You can get this item for 400 gems during Halloween in October, and in my opinion it's one of the best investments on the gem store, since you can have an item booster active almost all the time. You are now set to get the most out of your fishing. Let's move on to some tips and tricks that will make you even more efficient. If you have a commander tag, you can mark the fishing holes to get a better overview for yourself on the minimap and move around more easily. If you don't have a tag, check the LFG for a fishing squad, since they have the holes marked most of the time. Remember though that the tag will cover the exclamation mark above your head and you will need to look at the water instead. When you catch a fish, your character proudly displays it. This short animation takes a couple of seconds until you can make your next throw. Due to the cooldown, you don't save any time putting your fishing rod away and picking it up again. But when you make your last catch at a fishing hole, you can do that to skip the animation and instantly move on to the next fishing hole. When moving around with your skiff, remember to use the speed boost unlocked with the skiff mastery track. It can be a bit tricky to stop at the correct spot, but practice to master. Another way to move around efficiently is to use your skimmer. But by doing this, you risk losing your 99 stacks. In order to avoid this, you will need to be back on your skiff within 15 seconds and make sure to land in the center of it. If it's a longer distance between fishing holes, you can place your skiff along the way and fly over the center with your skimmer. In order to do this more easily, you can bind summon skiff on an easy to reach key. If you don't want to spend all your time fishing in the most profitable location and get some variation instead, use the fishing achievements and fish in those regions with the correct bait and at the right time of day. On this page on the wiki you can easily filter among locations, baits and more regarding the fish you want to catch. Link is in the description. By completing fishing achievements the first time you will get between 4 to 6 chunks of ancient ambergris depending on the region. And from the repeatable ones you will get 30 rare fish fillets and 3 chunks of ambergris on top of the fish you catch every time you finish them. And whilst you are out fishing, you can also check which rare fish this NPC in Arbestone wants from you each day. It usually only takes a couple of minutes to catch it, using the correct bait in the right zone. You can then trade it in for a daily chunk of ancient ambergris. Nowadays you can also do similar trades on all of the 3 current maps from Yantir Wilds. But you are limited to only 3 trades per day in total, including the one in Arbestone. The NPCs in the Yantir regions can require either a green, yellow or orange one. Exotic fish can be traded for 2 chunks of ancient ambergris when those are in rotation. If you are working on the world class fishing achievement, you might end up struggling with the Twilight Striker. At least I did, and I know others as well. It says you can use any bait and catch it anywhere during the 5 minutes of dusk or dawn. But even though I fished a lot, it took me way too long to get it. A good location for catching this one seems to be among the 4 offshore fishing holes north of Atolma Docks in Sunswept Isle from Living World Season 4. Here I finally got it on my second throw, and since then I have managed to catch it multiple times in this location. You can use any bait except mackerel or fish eggs to increase your luck. When trying to catch a fish, don't move your marker all the way to the end. Leave about 10% space on either side and it will be a bit easier for you to make the catch most of the time. When you are done fishing and have a lot of fish in your inventory, it's time to turn it into gold, and this is how you can do it. The most valuable item is the Chunk of Ancient Ambergris, which I have already mentioned a couple of times. You will always get 1 from each legendary fish, and from the rest there is a chance of getting it, which increases slightly depending on rarity. You can get even more ambergris by visiting any of the fishmongers and upgrading all of the fish fillets into flawless fish fillets. You can then use them to buy chunks of ancient ambergris. They sell for about 2 gold each on the trading post and the price has been quite consistent over time. Before selling all of your ambergris, remember to keep some of them if you plan to craft Gen 3 legendary weapons. You will need 100 ambergris for each weapon. As a final tip, I would recommend saving some of the rare fish you catch in order to be able to do the daily trades in Orbestone and the Yanti region, even on days when you are not fishing. Well, that's it. Good luck with your fishing, and don't forget the like and subscribe buttons for more content like this. Share any tips I didn't mention or any questions down below. Thank you for watching, and as always, enjoy the rest of your day.